Okay, let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why everyone around you seems to be getting ollies so much faster than you? Do you always hurt yourself trying, even when in practice? Do your ollies seriously look like this? Well, if you answered yes to any of these questions, I think I have a solution for you. What's going on, everybody? OpticalX here, and today I'm going to be telling you guys the 3 big reasons why you probably can't ollie. This video will be geared more towards beginners, as the ollie is basically the most beginner of beginner trick. But if you have learned ollies in the past but then forgotten, this video can still apply to you. I don't want to keep this intro being too long, so let's just get straight into the video. The first reason you probably can't ollie is because of your back foot. The back foot, in my opinion, is the most important part of an ollie, so let's go over what it's actually supposed to do. At its core, the back foot is there to pop the board up and give it leverage. And so naturally, if you're not popping the board hard enough, it's probably not going to go that high. Simple solution, just pop higher. But as we all know, it's not always that simple. Along with popping the tail down hard enough, you also need to be aware about timing. But it's not exactly the type of timing that you might think when I talk about ollies. What I mean about timing is how hard and how fast you pop the back tail. What I'm saying is that yes, you want to pop the back tail down hard, but you also want to take into account how hard you pop it down so you can actually jump off the back tail. Take a look at this example. Here, I set myself up for an ollie, but because of the bad timing of my back tail, my board didn't really go anywhere. Let's look at another example. Here, my pop was a little better, but the same problem is still occurring: bad timing. So how does one go about fixing this? Really start to focus on the back foot and what it's actually doing. Whether you're popping down a stair set or popping down a cliff, the same principles will still apply. Remember, the ollie isn't just about popping the back tail and flicking the front foot. It's a whole collective of other movements like crouching and jumping. So make sure you really take that into consideration when you pop the back foot. Second on our list is the positioning of your feet. This is probably the easiest to fix, thus making it easier to spot, but nonetheless, it's still important that we go over it. This is what your foot positioning should look like. Notice that my front foot is flat on top of my board. This is what you're looking for when setting up for an optimal ollie. Now let's take a look at this clip. As you can see, my foot positioning has changed quite a bit. My front foot is no longer flat on top of my board and is now curled off to the side, which leads into this horrible ollie attempt. But now when we switch over to this clip, you can see that my feet are now centered directly under my board, which of course leads into a nice, well-balanced ollie. So how does one fix this positioning problem? Well, you apply the tips I gave you. Unless you haven't been doing that. Okay, I'm joking, but in all seriousness, when you set up for an ollie, make sure that your feet is straight on top of your board rather than to the side of your board so it doesn't mess up your ollie. Last part we need to talk about today is the front foot and what it actually does. The front foot's 2 primary uses is to 1, drag the board up with it and keep it in the air, and 2, make sure you're actually aligned with the board so you can land smoothly and roll away. Both of these are pretty hard to learn and master, so let's go through them step by step. Foot positioning for the front foot can vary, but generally you want to have it straight on the front bolts or 2 to 3 inches off the front bolts. Alright, so this is the important bit. When you've popped your tail and it's actually on the ground, you want to slide your foot up all the way to the very top of the front bolts. In conjunction with popping the tail, your board will fly up into the air, and that's the bit where you actually need to catch your board. If you are not successful with flicking the front foot forward, you will end up with something called a rocketed ollie, and rocketed ollies are essentially just a term for an ollie that wasn't balanced out. You'll probably know if your ollie was balanced out or not, depending on whether you land back heavy or not. When your board is in midair and like you've popped it, you need to know two things. One, where your board is, and two, where you are. So make sure you take into consideration the positioning of your front foot, what your front foot is actually doing, and when you're in midair, where you actually are in correlation to your board. I'm really sorry I couldn't give you guys more tips on the front foot, as it really is just something that you need to feel out on your own. With enough time and dedication, I'm sure you guys will come to a happy conclusion. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment what you think I should do for my next video. Regardless, I still have lots of wacky videos that I'm planning to make in the future. And if you don't want to miss those, then you're gonna have to hit the subscribe button. It's right there in that bottom right corner. Go do it now. And with all that said, my name is Optical X, and I'm wishing you a very good day. Goodbye.